Oh guys, this is Good Leg. Yes, I am finally back. I have finally returned from God knows how long. How long hasn't it been? It's probably been like 9 days without a video. I apologize. I really apologize. I'll tell you the story of what's going on, of what happened, so to speak. It all started, when did it start? It was July. I think it was July the 4th, where I was going home for about 2 weeks of a visit. You know, summer starts, good time to visit the old family members. Fortunately, things didn't quite go the way I expected them to go, and what ended up happening was, well, my student's card, I don't know how else it's called, happened to expire on the 1st of July. Normally this happens on the 30th of September, that's the month, right? On the 30th of September, but it just happened to be that this year was the last year where they supported the old students' cards, and now they made new students' cards, which, by the way, look pretty much exactly the same, just a little bit more shiny. I can't explain this. I have the card right here with me. I have it made now. It's a new one. And it's just a little bit more shiny, which could just be because it's new and not like dirtied by years of usage or whatever. But regardless, right? Since that was the case, people were supposed to, you know, get new versions of that shit. Unfortunately, I didn't notice this, so I traveled all the way to the station and was all like, yeah! Try to buy a ticket, which comes at half the price if you have the student's card. And nope! They told me it's expired, obviously, so yeah, I couldn't buy a cheap ticket. Unfortunately, at that time I had not considered the possibility of my card expiring, and to be honest, I wouldn't have even gone back at that point. And ended up not coming back for another week because of this. Because, yeah, I'm cheap. Gotta save that money everywhere, right? And at that point I didn't actually have the money on me, because I thought, oh yeah, I'm just gonna, you know, buy tickets, go home, done. I don't have to worry about money for 2 weeks or whatever. Didn't quite turn out that way, obviously, so I had to go back home, and then since it was pretty much the weekend, I couldn't contact the people that are, you know, responsible for these student cards stuff. I had to wait until Monday. Eventually I contacted them and they're all like, well, you know, you have to give us back this card and make a new one and blah 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 blah. And I specifically asked them, can I do it like at the same time? And they're all like, yeah, totally. You can totally take this card like to the bank. Banks have a thing with the authorities behind the student cards where there's some sort of cross promotion going on there, so you can take your card out from a bank. You go to bank and you get it there. You don't have to go to actually like all the way to the university authorities or whatever. It's not necessary. The bank's much more comfortable, better too. So yeah, they say it's fine. You can give that card away, make a new one. Easy mode. Unfortunately, that was not that simple, but that's a little bit later. So I decided to stay until Friday again, because the 10th of the month is when the money rolls in, so to speak. So I thought, what the hell, I'll survive until the 10th for now, and I'll come back on the 11th. It's fine, right? It's Friday. So I did just that, came back, had to pay the full price, unfortunately, because obviously this thing is expired, but what you're gonna do? For reference, it does take about 2 weeks to get these cards done. So, yeah, it's not that simple or fast. And then I spent about a week at my mom's, just wasting precious time, as they say. Doing pretty much nothing of use or interest. As you may or may not know, there is no good computer there, so I can't even play games like... Even games like Hearthstone lag in there. And Hearthstone is like a game for tablets and shit. That's how terrible the notebook PC is there. It's just like, ugh. But whatever. Whatever. So then I did the obvious thing and tried to return the card. The student's card. Using their website system. Easier said than done. Well, let's be honest. Giving it back was easy. In the system. I just pressed the button, then it's all like, yeah, give it back to us. The problem was that as soon as I did that, the button for ordering a new one disappeared. I couldn't actually order a new one. Meaning that giving it back at the same time as doing the other thing was impossible. Don't you love when you ask a question and they tell you you can do something, but then you try to do it and you can't? It's amazing! Anyway, I had to first give them back the card. And as it turns out, banks don't actually take cards either. So we went to bank and they refused to take it. They told us to give it back directly with the very same fucking authorities at the university that told me that I can give it back at the bank. That's obviously great news, isn't it? Anyway, then I tried to contact them for a few days. They couldn't actually respond, I think. They were busy or something. But, I mean, it is the middle of summer, so I don't blame them for that. I mean, yeah. Who the fuck tries to change a student card in the middle of summer? Nobody. Except me. Eventually, it turned out that we had to send it with a letter, an actual letter, usually using the actual mail system. The one in real life, I know, it still exists, amazing. And by the time it arrived and was processed, it was the 21st of July. Yeah. So I just ordered a new one when they finally processed it. And then I had to wait 2 weeks for it to be made. It was made and arrived on the 1st of August, so pretty much a week ago. And picked it up, and finally I could then return. It so happened that I returned on Tuesday, the 5th of August, because of circumstances. I'm not allowed to talk about it. It's very secret. Yeah. And then I think I caught some sort of a disease. I have now got some temperature, and the entirety of the yesterday I had a headache. So yeah, that's pretty much the story of the past month. Most of the things admitted. I mean, I didn't talk about how I went to my grandma's. I didn't talk about how I forced my cousin to play Dark Souls 1. And what else did I do? Oh, I also read through Steins Gate's visual novel. It was fucking good. Not literally fucking good, just fucking good. Not literally. There was no fucking. It's not that kind of visual novel, okay? It's just a visual novel. It's not. I have a problem with visual novels which have fucking, of course, but this one didn't have fucking. Let's move on. Let's move on. It matters little what happened in the past month, because it is today, the 7th of August, and it is time to finally respond to comments. after a long break. So let's start off with this little comment by SoulCypress. Did I have to pronounce that in like one? Nah, I'm not that picky. This man is just lazy, but I don't mind this kind of laziness. It's just like not putting a space in his name. You know? I don't do it either. I say the good like 13. It doesn't have any spaces in my name. So this is fine, SoulCypress. Now, your comment though, this is lousy, disliked. So this was made on my Left 4 Dead 2 Team Good Like versus Team Pem. You know, the two professional teams that have played the game for years, decades actually, clashing in the battle of destiny for the title of the greatest Left 4 Dead 2 team ever. Well, I'm not gonna spoil which of these professional teams won, but it was fun to play, possibly to watch. So I wasn't really sure what this guy meant. I mean, how can be such content that is clearly professional grade be terrible? So I looked up what actually lousy means on the internet, and actually it has two meanings. Very poor or bad is actually the informal meaning, right? And since we are professionals, we don't concern ourselves with such irrelevant explanations. Surely he meant the other meaning, which is infested with lice. Now, what's lice? Lice is the plural of louse, which is apparently some sort of wingless insect. They're mostly, apparently, insects that just, you know, feed on skin and stuff. It's, I don't know if they're considered parasitic or whatever. I'm not actually a biologist. I can't answer you. However, what I can seemingly see is that body lice are extremely sensitive to change in temperature and humidity and have been known to abandon a dead person or people with elevated temperatures, which is irrelevant in this case. Well, actually it is relevant. Sorry. So, these lice, they couldn't have infected any of the zombies in the game, because Left 4 Dead 2 is a zombie game, and they couldn't have infected any of the heroes, because the heroes are like running around all the time. They're shooting, they're going through fires. There's no way any creatures that are sensitive to change in temperature would stick to them. So I find his scientific proclamation that you know, this game apparently is lice infested completely wrong. I'm sorry, SoulCypress, but it's completely wrong. You are just wrong. There are no lice in that game. There can't be. It just doesn't work like that. They would just, you know, not be there. They're not that kind of bugs. Right? Insects, whatever. So I would like you to undo your dislike, because you're simply wrong. You are simply wrong. There were no lice present. I'm certain about this. Next comment from NeonNautilus. Ah, the squigglies are just meant to imply a sing-songy tone, yes? I'll stop if they're too silly. And yes, I'm female. More than colon. Have a good trip, sir. So first of all, thank you. My trip was about as good as always, which was a 3 to 4 hour ride in a bus, which wasn't very interesting or fun, but I probably slept through most of it, so it's no big deal. The stay was relatively boring. I mean, there's only so many things you can do when you don't really have a computer at your side. So it is. And regarding the squigglies, I didn't actually know what they imply or mean. So thank you. You have taught me an important lesson. And they're not silly. Absolutely not. I've noticed that a lot of people, for example, have problems with emoticons and stuff like that. But really, when you think about it, just looking at the text, it's practically impossible to know the intonation of it, and as a result, the true meaning behind the words gets lost. Emoticons really help to set the tone for what you're saying. They kind of, why is there a construction right there? Allow me to close the window. Right, where was I? That's right. Emoticons really help you set the tone of what you're saying. It makes absolutely no sense to take them out because it makes what you're saying more difficult to decipher, right? So it's not silly. Please continue to do it, and in fact use even more of these squigglies or more than colons or whatever, wherever it's appropriate, to make sure that people completely understand where you're coming from. And do not listen to their complaints. They're dumb if they complain. That is all. Domy JusT says, "Yay, good stuff, though I don't deserve the praise. It's because they messed up the game quite a lot that I help you a bit. 3 commas. And I'm glad you're going to keep playing the game. I think you're on a 30% of the game by now. I don't know. Dark Souls 2 is a lot easier than Dark Souls, but they mess it up so it makes it harder, I guess. Just keep playing and you will start to enjoy it. I hope. D. And man, this YouTube, I just don't get it. I really don't. Space coma. Why don't they just make it easier for us instead of forcing something that already died or was always dead? Freaking Google Plus. 3 commas. Makes me mad. Have a good trip, D. Man, so nice. I can't recall when somebody has told me to have a good trip. Now I get like 2 people telling me to have a good trip. It's like the best day ever. Except it's like 2 days, because one of the comments was on 14th and the other on 17th. It's like 2 best days ever. This is great. Anyway, you definitely deserve the praise, man. I don't get a lot of views on my videos, but I still get quite a few. And not that many people choose to comment. And I don't blame them. I mean, Google Plus. So I understand the reluctance to actually make the comments. It's really nice when I do see someone write something up. I open up, you know, the comments page, and there's somebody writing something. I get to read something. It's cool and interactive. I love that. I enjoy it. It's such a shame that I can't, you know, do it myself. A little bit over a year ago, for example, I actually did a lot of commenting on quite a few videos. I can actually recommend this, because this is very good. Just need to find it. Rowan 1K. Rowan 1K. Rowan 1K, there we go. Channel does not exist. What is going on? Bear with me for a moment. Let's play, what was it called? Chrono Cross. Rowan. Yeah, this should bring some. Oh, it was Rowan 1K, it's not a number, of course. So, I'll leave the link somewhere, maybe on an annotation, possibly in the description. But basically, Rowan 1K is one of the better Let's Players that has never gotten big. In fact, he's so small, you may say he almost doesn't exist. He has 17 subscribers. but his videos are pretty viewed. I see a lot of dislikes on them for some reason now. Do not be swayed. This man knows what he's doing. And if he didn't, then I taught him better. It was pretty good. And I commented on pretty much every single one of his videos, of which there are about 33. And they're pretty good videos, and pretty funny. Trust me. It's a good watch if you haven't seen it, which you probably haven't, because he only has 17 subscribers. Unfortunately, he hasn't been active for over a year. His activity was a little bit hectic towards the end, as it was, but it was a cool LP. I really liked it. It was really fun. I enjoyed it, and commented on every single one. And imagine that someone like that now appears, right? Someone like that. He will have no subscribers. I mean, this guy has been going on for months, and he had 17. So what can you expect of new people who don't know what they're doing? I can't any longer comment on these people's videos. I can't even send them a message anymore because they even removed the inbox. So these people will probably never hear from me. And I can only imagine, you know, how much they enjoyed the fact that somebody commented on their videos. I mean, maybe they were freaked out. I mean, it's a little bit creepy when somebody just keeps commenting on every single video, I guess. Not for me, though. I don't care. You could comment on every single video I have. I'll accept it. Some people, you know, just have the time, so I'm not gonna go crazy on you or anything. Imagine that someone like this now pops up and I start watching his videos. I can't contact them. I can't tell them how much I like their videos. I can't do anything now. All because of Google+. And obviously my own stubbornness, but you know, that's implied. It has to be there. It just makes me sad. I mean, in the end, of course, it didn't turn out that well for Mr. Rowan either, and his 17 subscribers. But it could have. You really can't say that something is bad if, having not heard of it for over a year, I still remember it, right? If it was shit or terrible, I would have forgotten it long ago. But I remember it very well. Oh, and I also just learned something even more stupid about Google. They acquired Twitch recently, and now they enforce their content ID system on Twitch. That is just fucking fantastic. And guess what? Of course, hilarity ensues. Everything left and right is being flagged and muted, and even Twitch's own streams are being muted by the system. Well, this is a surprise. Nobody foresaw this happening. People are fucking dumb. Oh, I can't. This is just terrible. Finally, regarding Dark Souls 2, it being 30% done. What the fuck? Seriously? 30%? I'm barely a third way through and I'm already at like 400 deaths? That's insane. That is insane. I mean, I said that I might get 1,000 deaths in this playthrough as a joke, but it might actually turn out it becomes true. And I do agree that they messed this shit the fuck. Like, I'm gonna finish the game and then probably I'm gonna tell you what's wrong with it once I'm done. There's definitely things wrong with this game. I'll try to finish it as soon as I can at this point, but I don't know. It'll probably still take a while because of this fucking delay and upcoming disease, apparently.